We've said that we'll make sure that all of our policies are properly costed and that they're affordable within the context of the current economic climate that we are in. We have made allowance in the budget for new spending in future years, so that's clear, and we can do that within the spending allowances that we've set. Well, as I said when I was speaking on the stage, I'm more interested in vision for the country than in shouting other people down.
You mentioned
do you feel like this is a sign of the campaign to come, and what's your take on your experience today? It's pretty unusual to have that level of protest.
I'm not going to be put off by Brian Tamaki and his people who are just trying to disrupt everybody else. I actually think in an election campaign, people should be contesting ideas rather than trying to shout each other down.
You mentioned a picture of this campaign, though?
Well, certainly won't be on our side.
You mentioned that you were keen to see eventually a Labour Party government expand free dental care to everybody, not just 40% of New Zealanders. Why didn't you go that far this time?
The policy that we've announced today is what we can afford at the moment. Big changes to universal entitlement like healthcare needs to be stepped out over a period of time. As we've expanded free GP visits, for example, to young New Zealanders, we've done that over successive terms of government, and we'd look to do the same with dental care.
Do you have an estimate?
There's always been capacity, whether there's enough there for them to provide that increased service. Are you confident that there is?
So we believe that there is some capacity within the system, but we are going to need to grow capacity. That's definitely factored into our timing, and it's also factored into the decision that we took to increase funding for more placements, for more dentists.
Can you grow it faster?
We'll certainly be aiming to grow our dental workforce more, and of course we will also be encouraging dentists from abroad to come in. They're on the green list, and this will create more opportunities to bring more in. Jane.
So presumably you are relying completely for quite a few years on the green list. How many have been coming in on the green list, and how many do you anticipate will come in to provide for 800,000?
So Dr. Verrill's been doing the modelling, so I'll let her comment on that.
So we have options, firstly, to release existing capacity in the system, and a part of doing that will be renegotiating with the sector how we contract for dental services. We do that under an agreement called the Combined Dental Services Agreement. Secondly, we have the opportunity to use roles differently within our health system. And then thirdly, we do need to bring in some additional dentists. We don't think that would need to be more than 200 clinicians overall.
How many have you brought in so far on the green list?
That number is lower than that, and the reason being we've been working with individual clinics that are currently recruiting. We would run a government-led campaign to bring in the numbers of dentists we need for the program.
What's the green list? How many dentists do you actually have, and will that be enough for the 800,000 people you're saying will benefit by the end?
That's why we've made the policy be one that rolls out over time to give us time to make that international recruitment. Where we have done that in a focused way, we've done really well with our international health recruitment. For example, as I said, it would be up to 200 would be the maximum number we would need. We know that the wait list has come down considerably for children. We've taken 55,000 children off the wait list over a 6-month period. For some children, that wait is still long. It can be several months, but we are making huge progress in bringing it down.
So you don't get these dentists saying that sign up and you're expecting
Those are different workforces that you're talking about. For the children's dental service, a lot of that is done by allied health professionals, not dentists, and we've already committed to increasing the training of those.
Prime Minister, you could...
Oh, Jenna and then Claire. I set out the evidence base in the speech that I just gave. We know that tooth decay particularly starts to accelerate for people in their 20s. So if we want to get ahead of long-term dental problems, then actually that group of people in their 20s, that's a good group to target in order to stop longer-term, bigger dental issues emerging. Sorry, what was that? The Labour Party's always believed in a universal entitlement to healthcare. We don't means test cancer drugs. We don't means test other forms of healthcare. We don't check when someone arrives at ED whether they could afford to pay for that service.
Prime Minister, why did
Claire.
you choose...
So you hoping basically that this will have a bigger splash for you than the GST offer you reached a while ago, and how long have you been working on offering this?
We've been working on this for some time. Obviously, the campaign's getting underway. I'm confident on all the policies that we're putting before the electorate.
Prime Minister, you used to...
part of that policy was getting into hard to reach areas. In 2020, you needed 20 more mobile clinics. They never came in because the right vehicles weren't available. Have you delivered any of those mobile dental clinics? And how are you going to improve dental care in the regions of Māori and Pacifica who don't have the ability to do it with mobile?
So we're certainly making progress on the mobile dental clinics, and I'll ask the Minister of Health to update you on that too.
So
We'll come to you in a minute.
the dental clinics needed to be procured, and that was disrupted due to supply chain disruptions over COVID. So we've ordered the first tranche of those. They will be through in the new year.
Prime Minister,
That is the first of half of them.
Prime Minister, with the protest downstairs, are you satisfied with the level of security that was available there? I mean, you had 6 people disrupt your speech in whole parts.
Yeah, so I mean, the people had to register in order to get into the audience. So these are people who, deliberately set out to effectively mislead in order to get into the auditorium. You can never fully guard against that sort of thing. Ultimately, this is Brian Tamaki and his group of people trying to upset the election for everybody else. I'm not going to be put off by that, though. We're still going to do events. We're still going to get out and about and meet people. That's what campaigns are about. We're not aiming to disrupt anyone else's campaign. We're going to be focused on our own campaign.
Why did you choose to do?
Like it's not, it's not really fun being the subject of that when you're going out and trying to campaign. What does it feel like?
That hasn't put me off.
Why did you, Prime Minister? Why did you use the phrase "cost of living crunch" rather than "cost of living crisis" in your speech?
Well, it's both of those things.
Well, why didn't you say crisis? And why didn't you say crisis when you were talking to the party faithful? Were you embarrassed about the level that you've left behind?
I think I actually used both terms.
Prime Minister, one of the lines
Do you
there was
think that you need a game-changer policy to get people interested in Labour again, and do you think that this is it?
I don't think people vote on a single issue, and I think that this election campaign will be the opportunity for New Zealanders to weigh up all of the things that we're offering and all of the things that other parties are offering, and I think that they will see that the party that's got a positive vision for the future, that'll actually leave New Zealand and New Zealanders better off, is the Labour Party.
But in the past, Labour has gone for policies that don't necessarily affect all generations, but all generations like it because it affects one of their family members. Is this your one for this election?
I think all New Zealanders will see the benefits of free dental care for the under 30s. We'll come over to the people who haven't asked questions yet. Yeah.
one of the lines that's now taking place in your speech is that you're saying that foreigners are going to come and buy New Zealand's houses. So, I mean, given New Zealand's actually in urgent need of foreign investment, how careful are you to not tip into xenophobia with your remarks?
Look, the National Party's policy speaks for itself. In order to make their numbers add up, that would mean $5 billion worth of New Zealand homes every year being sold to foreign buyers. We've been really clear. We do see the value of foreign investment in New Zealand, and you've seen decisions that we've taken in the last couple of months that have been very focused on attracting the sort of foreign investment that we need. But shutting New Zealanders out of the housing market isn't the answer to the foreign investment that we need.
I'm sure it's useful if foreign money can help build infrastructure in New Zealand.
Look, we set out something around renewable energy just recently, where we are aiming to attract investment from all over the world in the renewable electricity generation that we need.
What number is
Yeah.
Pacific peoples are disadvantaged in oral health care already. How do you target those people?
I might ask Minister Henare to step forward.
Ko ngā ratonga hauora Māori kei a rātou te mana ki roto i ngā hapori, ko kitea tātou i wā rātou mahi i te taima o te mate korona, ka pērā anō mō tēnei kaupapa here i te rāne.
Whakapono ana koe ka whaia tonu te koutou tērā ātu tukino?
Ai marika, i pakari rawa ngā mahi niho ki roto i ngā ratonga hauora i ngā tau te kau, iwa te kau. Anā, kua mimiti haere ki roto i ngā tau kua pahuri ake, nā, kua rongo koe i te rāne ko te kaupapa here o tō mātou premier o tēnei pāti, anā kia whakapakari anō.
Prime Minister,
Significantly more, somewhere around about $600 million per year, so significantly more than what we're proposing here. What was that?
I think the calculations that we've done would get us there. That would probably be on top, of course, of what we're now doing. So
yeah,
that calculation might just about get us there.
Follow-up for Grant Robertson. How did it make you feel, if you wouldn't mind sitting in front of the mic?
Sorry, I didn't want to get in Jason's way.
How did it make you feel when you heard the leader say he wanted to fight for the
Delighted. I mean, this is a really important policy, and the way we're delivering it is the way to do it, which is responsibly and carefully. So we could have stood up there today and said it's all free for everybody right now, but actually as a country we can't afford to do that right now. So we've struck the balance here between starting off what is a really transformational policy for New Zealanders, but doing it in a way that we can afford and that is responsible. So I was really pleased. This is something that's been talked about in the Labour Party for a long time, and it's a policy that I'm delighted it's come out.
Barry, you retiring wallflower down the back.
Is this the last of the big spending policies to come out?
We indicated that we were going to set out a 10-point cost of living plan, and I've announced now 8 of them.
How does it gel with the call for restraint?
We've been really clear that the cost of living plans that we're putting out there will balance within the spending allowance that we've got available.
Just a month ago, Prime Minister at PostCab, you said it would require significant investment just to build capacity to meet the need for additional care, not universal, just additional care. Now you're announcing all of this at a time that we're in a cost of living crisis, inflation is through the roof. Why did you not do anything more with this in the elections gone by when you said you would, but it was never delivered, and now you're choosing to do it in a cost of living crisis?
Well, every election you have a different set of priorities. We believe that now is the time to start rolling out a universal entitlement to free dental care, and we have set out a plan to build the capacity to do that.
Given it takes 6 years to train dentists, isn't it a little bit too late?
No, I don't think so. It's never too late, Joe. Well, I don't necessarily agree with the assertion that you've made there, but I would say that election campaigns are contests of ideas. And I think parties, our ideas in the 3 years that we've been in government have been scrutinised on a daily basis by the National Party. I think it's only legitimate as we go into an election campaign that we provide some scrutiny on theirs. I don't believe I was being negative. I believe I was providing scrutiny of the ideas that the National Party are putting before the electorate. It's very clear, as has become clear in the last 48 hours, that their numbers simply don't add up. I think it's fair that they get challenged on that.
How much of this plan did you reveal to James Shaw and the Green Party ahead of the unveiling of it today?
I haven't had a conversation with them about it.
They'll be pretty pleased to hear this. They've been campaigning for universal dental care. This is a start.
As I said in my speech, the Labour Party and the Green Party have worked very constructively together in government, and I'm sure that if that's what the voters deliver after the election, we can continue to do that. I'll come over there behind you. So in answer to that second question, no, not at all. But I'll get Dr. Verrill just to set out the timing, because it is going to be stepped out over the term.
Grant needs to go too.
And Grant's got to go to a flight.
So in July 2025, there will be access for up to 23-year-olds, and then up to 29-year-olds from July 2026.
And then what's the next step?
Look, that is a discussion for another term.
Yep, one term at a time. I'm not announcing our 2026 manifesto today, but nice try.
It's also not really support for the current cost of living crisis, is it? If it doesn't kick in until 2025.
It's certainly going to make a meaningful difference to families. Not everything that we're proposing will kick in immediately. Bernard, you can have the lucky last question.
But Prime Minister, couldn't you argue that doing it universally much faster would reduce the long-term costs, liabilities of all of that dental care and hospital care?
We're just not in a position, A, to be able to fund that, and B, to have the capacity to be able to deliver on that. So this is a plan that we know we can afford, and it's a plan we know we can deliver.
So what are the long-term liabilities of not doing it all now?
Well, obviously, we're making progress.
But maintaining
All right.
the capacity, you're leaving it to be dealt with from hospitals that are overrun. You've got patients waiting outside an ambulances for 6 hours at a time. Aren't you just moving the pressure?
This is going to make a meaningful difference, and it is going to avoid more people ending up in that situation.
Prime Minister,
All right.
in response to your announcement, your dental care announcement, did it meet your expectations?
In terms of what?
How the crowd responded to the policy announcement, did they see it?
Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah. Because I think it is a massive step forward in terms of the provision of free public health care for New Zealanders. Thanks. Absolutely. Thanks all.
Kia ora.